All right, the clock is ticking with a new timeline in place in the case of Fulton County DA Fani Willis. Superior Court Judge Scott McAfee saying he's going to decide in the next couple of weeks, the next two to be exact, whether Willis will be disqualified after closing arguments on Friday. If Willis, who was in the courtroom yesterday, is removed, it could completely upend the Georgia election interference case against the former president. Joining me now is investigative journalist Michael Isikoff, co-author of Find Me the Votes, a hard-charging Georgia prosecutor, a rogue president, and the plot to steal an American election. Michael, it looks like you got another book now on your hands as well, considering all the testimony we've heard over the last couple of weeks or so. Let me just ask you, were you surprised to see your book cited yesterday? And then we'll get into the details of how it may have not necessarily been accurate.
Look, this is not the first time the Trump lawyers have waved around a copy of Find Me the Votes. Happy to see it. It's great for business. But that said, they keep misquoting the book and misstating it. The reason it came up yesterday is Mr. McDougal, the lawyer for Jeffrey Clark, one of the defendants in this case, quoted from the book jacket that we had exclusive access to thousands of internal documents, text messages, audio recordings, and other material, trying to imply that Fani Willis or the district attorney's office had provided us this exclusive access from grand jury material and other investigative files. Completely wrong. They obviously did not read the book closely, because if they checked Chapter 6, it's quite clear where this material came from. It's from sources at Motley, the South Carolina plantation owned by Lynn Wood, one of the where a lot of the Trump lawyers, Sidney Powell and others, including Michael Flynn, were gathering, concocting these wild conspiracy theories that were then used by Trump and his lawyers to promote their Stop the Steal project. But it had nothing to do with Fani Willis. It's quite significant. There are audio recordings of we have in the book.
Michael, I want to pause you. I want to pause you for a moment, because despite the fact that you expertly explained the situation in the way in which it was presented by Jeffrey Clark's attorney, Harry McDougal, I do want to play it for folks to kind of remind them of how this all went down and the quoting of your book, and then we'll come back.
Sure.
The second conflict is her political ambition, for which he was previously chastised by Judge McBurney. And that's also present in this book. The inside flap of this book says that they were given, quote, exclusive access to thousands of secret documents, emails, text messages, and audio recordings. The court has twice denied defense motions to unseal special purpose grand jury materials. She helped herself to get the glory of this book.
So you were watching this moment at home, I assume, or you heard about it and you thought?
No, I was watching it in real time, and again, great to see him waving around the book, but totally misrepresenting the contents. And this is not the first time they've done it. 2 weeks ago in one of the hearings, they waved around the book, trying to imply that there's a passage in the book that Fani Willis was in financial straits when she became DA, and therefore she had this incentive to give this lucrative contract to Nathan Wade, who then reimbursed her by taking her on these lavish trips. In fact, the passage they were quoting from referred to Fani Willis's financial issues in 2018, 2 years earlier. Then she gets a judgeship. Then her law practice picks up. And by the time she ran for DA, she was not in financial straits at all. So they, once again, misstated the book. But look, I'm glad they're calling attention to it. Hopefully it will encourage some people to actually read it and see how they're getting so much stuff wrong in their presentations.
So in your book, you talk about the choice that Fani Willis made in choosing Wade. And you talk about how he was the third or so choice for this role after people, for instance, like the former governor, Roy Barnes, and others, they turned down this job because of potential threats for if they were to take this position. Can you talk more about what you learned and how it was that he came on this role?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's pretty important because it sort of undercuts the entire premise of what the Trump lawyers are arguing here, which is that there was this corrupt bargain by which Fani Willis, calculated from the beginning. They used that word, calculated, to give the job to Nathan Wade so he can get paid a lot of money from the taxpayers of Fulton County and then would take her on all these trips. In fact, as we report in the book, Fani Willis had trouble getting anybody to take this job because of the heightened atmosphere and threats encouraged by Donald Trump from the start. Roy Barnes is quoted in our book saying that he didn't want to take the job because, hypothetically speaking, he tells us, do you want to have a bodyguard following you around for the rest of your life? He then gave exactly that same testimony under oath when he was called as a witness. Gabe Banks, another highly regarded federal prosecutor who she reached out to, really wanted him to take the job. And again, because his wife was concerned about threats to their family, he didn't take it. So the idea that this was a calculated decision to sort of enrich Nathan Wade for the purpose of helping Fani Willis out, taking her on trips, is kind of undercut by the facts as laid out in Find Me the Votes.
So with that in mind, in about 20 seconds or so, Michael, what are your predictions on this?
Hard to say. The judge showed some skepticism that the Trump lawyers had shown a real conflict of interest here, but he was also open to the idea of doing this on appearance of a conflict standard, which is a much loosey-goosier standard. Right. It's really hard to say. The judge has been pretty poker face throughout this, so we're just going to have to wait to see his opinion.
Michael Isikoff, thank you so much. Appreciate it.